Okay, it's time for the question, Naveen.
Huh?
Let's go. Cool, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got Dr. Rugby John Dobson and Mr. 150, Brok Harris. We'll go for questions in the room and then go to Zoom. Yes, Naveen.
Hi, good afternoon, Doug. Good afternoon, Brocky. First of all, Brocky, 150 up tomorrow. It's a massive milestone in your career. I mean, 39 years old. Doesn't get any better than this for you.
Yeah, no, it's a really special occasion. Yeah, I always said I just wanted to come back to get the 100. That's 7 I needed when I left, and yeah, now I'm on 150. So yeah, and to run out with my kids the previous time, obviously with COVID and all that, it's going to be special. So yeah, looking forward to it.
But just your side, you guys have been a little inconsistent this season. At times, it's been you described as too loose, too messy, lives have gone a bit ugly. But does this period now, the next sort of 3-4 games, is it sort of come as playoff mode now?
Yeah.
And you guys have to win at all costs now. It's regardless of how you win.
Yeah, no, that's true. We've got ourselves into a bit of a hole. It's to be honest, it all started with the tour. I mean, if we got the 2 wins, maybe the ones at Cardiff and Benetton, we wouldn't be having this discussion now. So we've been sort of catching up the whole season, and now the Ospreys one actually just took it down another notch, in terms of the pressure on us. We've got a game model, so we can't change our game model just because we feel the pressure. We've just got to execute it better. And I know, I'm sorry, I know execute's a terrible cliche. We were loose last week. I don't think this season anything stuck for us. But listen, seasons or 2 before, was everything sticking? So I can't complain about that. So I think it's just a bit more, again, I'm trying to avoid cliches, but we were loose last week. That's the truth. You could see, everybody could see that. It's a little bit more accurate, a little bit more circumspect, but not to change our actual game model. Yeah, but yeah, we've got ourselves in a bit of a hole.
And then tomorrow night, do you think that you guys can sort of tighten it down even more? I know you don't want to be conservative, but at times you need to be when the games are tight.
So I don't see it quite as, so our game model is our game model. It's just about doing that better. And what's wrong with the game model? No, what was wrong with the execution of the game model last week was that, with the stuff you talk, just being, as I said, too loose. So just a bit more circumspect about that. But we're not suddenly going to say we're going to be entirely set piece based and don't want the ball, or trying to become a multi-phase team to get penalties. Well, that bit's not going to change. Our game model's not going to change. It's just going to be better at it.
Just my final question, Bob, could you take us to the changes? Some also that arrived late. Just could you tell us a bit of the changes you're thinking behind it?
Yeah, so obviously we made quite a few rotational changes to build depth. Just in case we needed guys later in the tournament. I would still do that now. That wasn't the reason we lost the game. It wasn't them. But we've probably gone more to what we would think is our team that we think is going to do duty. We did what we had to do last week and get in the next lock, the next tight end, the next hookers, or get them the next 9, getting them awesome rugby. So that box was ticked, but in the wrong way, But I mean, but the rest is sort of Joseph and Andre being the top 2 hookers the whole time. Obviously, bring Nietlen back, who was rested out last week. Back to the top starting locks, which are Ruben and Saman. Connor's another guy, just want to give opportunity. There's no 6 in Dion, but we've got a very firm policy here, which I like, is that if a guy plays and reaches a milestone, he starts. I don't like that idea of those guys doing it off the bench. I don't know, criticize Northern Hemisphere teams, but so it's just unusual that I half thought about leaving Marcel out so that Rocky could have more time in the sun, but we have to do what's right for the team. So Marcel starts, but he could have started on Merit without Dion. We've got a problem without Dion. BJ is definitely doing really well at 7, so that was logical. The backstairs in Rugby with Zassi and Ruan, and there's somebody else. There's not a lot of room to maneuver in terms of injury. Dan and Damien with the centres. We did duty La Rochelle without Zassi. It is Ben and Suleiman and Warwick. I mean, the only debate in the bank, which is weekly, do you put one to Celia at 13 and then leave one at Damien, or you never leave Damien out, leave Warwick out? And that's where I think we get Damien, Dan, and Warwick all on the field. And they did well against La Rochelle. It's not quite as simple as 12 and 13. You watch them on the field; they're mixed up a lot,
Just final one for me. I just remembered now. You've been getting contact extensions in this last couple of weeks. A lot we've had obviously Stuart
Yeah.
coming back, tradition.
Yeah.
But now the other one is Dan Du Plessis.
Yeah.
Could you just touch on that and tell us how important Dan is? I know you've said he's one of the most important players,
Yeah.
if not David Willemse, you've told us in the past.
Yeah.
So
Dan's a driver, leader. He's got standards. One of the most honest players, which is important. So he'll call a coach out for something, or I think this is not good for the team. So he's a sort of cultural, I know it's a cliche again, but he's a sort of cultural architect in the team. The standards he sets on defense. And then, just something incredible about him. I think he's, I know Andre Estes he's coming back, but he's been playing overseas. Delender's been overseas. He must be probably arguably the best domestic 12 around. And I just see a guy that anybody else in the world, they're about to take the ball on the crash ball, on the advantage line. There's a smile from ear to ear. And, he's a stormer through and through. So definitely one of the most important extensions we could have done.
that's cool.
Cool.
Thanks, Babin.
We'll have some more extensions for you soon, Naveen.
There we go.
Nathan has got his hand up. Yes, Nathan.
Thank you very much, Mike. Good day, Dobbo, and congratulations, Brok. Dobbo, I've got a few questions for you, not two, just more than two this time. Last week I asked Rito, weren't the wheels fall off, especially with all the changes, and he said the team understood the assignment. Again, this week, you guys said you won't shy away from the flash of rugby, as you mentioned with Mabine now, obviously against a well-organized Leinster side. Even calling the big guns for Leinster this weekend, are you feeling the pressure a bit?
Definitely. I can say, no, it's another game. It's not. We've got ourselves into a hole, like I said to Mabine, and we want to get ourselves out of it. We've done it before. We'll do it again. The pressure, of course. We've got an incredibly proud record here at Cape Town. We hosted all 6 of the URC playoffs. It's not going to be the case this year. We want to make sure we're part of the Champions Cup. We want to do as far. We still want to try and win the URC, but if we lost tomorrow, it'll be another home game, and we'll be in a world of trouble. So there's definitely pressure.
And then milestones for Brok, Marcel, and Evan. What impact have each of those players have had in the environment, both as players and human beings?
All 3. Listen, Brok, to my mind, is going to go down as one of the greatest Stormers of all time. So, that it's unlikely if you're going to put a Stormers Hall of Fame up of, 10 names, Brocky would be up there. That's curious because a lot of them were big Springboks with, I don't know, it's Sean or Skalk, whoever you want to put up there. Brocky would be up there. So I've actually learned so much from Brocky about his approach to the game, the balance between the detail and understanding the project and the mission and the team spirit and the culture. He coaches on 21 forwards. He'll go from here to another 21 session. It's just he's a role model. I think he must be the most popular Stormer. I didn't know Brocky. I never coached him when I was still in the juniors when Brocky left to go to Wales. I didn't know him, and I've made the joke before. My father told me he wasn't going back to Newlands while Brocky was playing fly-off. When they played that old province shape, they've changed a bit there. And it's just been absolutely one of the highlights of my career, coaching, to get to know and meet and have intersection with Brocky. Trying to persuade him to stay longer, but he may transition to coaching sooner than later. But it's an incredible achievement. I mean, how many Dragons games?
143.
So we've got to get him to 300 in total at first class. I can speak for hours about it. And then, Evan, great, got a big future. But I think Marcel, a bit of an unsung guy. I told Mike to double check that he got 50 because he just seems like a youngster we're just bringing through, and he still is, I suppose. But that he's on 50 is great. I think he's a big player for this franchise in the future. He's just getting better and better. And as I say, a lot of his games have been off the bench. So really pleased he's starting, but he brings a lot of intensity. Did an amazing job for us at number 8 when both Achiever and Evan were out last season. So I'm very pleased. But this is an amazing achievement, and I say one of the greatest Stormers of all time.
Brocky, Mr. Hall of Famer, last week, in all honesty,
Nathan, naughty now.
Brocky, last week, in all honesty, was really disappointing. The next game you guys will play in front of the faithful will be after Saturday, will be on the 1st of June. Any messages for the faithful and lead up to Leinster?
Yeah, I think we knew obviously the reviews and stuff on Monday wasn't nice. It wasn't our standards. And tomorrow's another opportunity to make the wrongs right. And come out and support us. And yeah, we'll do our best to make Cape Town smile, and we know it's not going to be easy, but yeah, I think yeah, we were well prepared.
Second last one, I promise. Dobbo, something special happened during the week. Both the Stormers and Leinster visited the Master in Langa Township. Can you just expand on the project?
Look, you guys get sick of how important our interactions with Cape Town and making Cape Town smile, because it's our why. But I'll give URC credit here as well. You know, it was a nice collaboration with URC. Got to commend Leinster for their spirit, but you know, I think, yeah, it's such an important part of how the Stormers reach out to the people, not just the people who come here, the people who are privileged enough to be able to get into a car or come on a bus to come and watch the Stormers and buy a ticket. Those people in that video that you would have seen, none of them would be coming to the stadium. It's not us trying to make money off them by coming here. It's just us trying to reach out to them. So I honestly, I think it's very special. I think that Lisa, Scat, Kian Healy, the way those guys embraced it was special. So well done to URC. I think lots of touring teams, and well done to Leinster, because some touring teams are going to think, why am I getting on a bus and going out to a so-called township when I could be having 9 holes of the Metropolitan or whatever the story is, you know? So I think well done to Leinster as well. Just a really good, this is what we should be doing much more of.
Then lastly, Dobbo, the DHL Western Province women's side playing, they couldn't raise it tomorrow. First at the new home of Western Province Rugby, or let me say Stormers Rugby. How important are these occasions whereby women's rugby is accommodated as well?
Now it's going to make a joke, but then it's going to backfire. No, why I said I was going to make look. I think that later, I'm not being funny. Mike and Greg, I think they played one curtain raiser here last year against Border.
They played in COVID.
Yeah, so it's on their first. It's not their first time, but why I was going to make a joke. With a joke, they're amazing. They're an amateur team. We see them when they were with HBO. We train in the daytime. Those ladies come in there 6 o'clock after a full day work. They're in dark lights. They stand there till they're in the gym till 9, 10 o'clock at night. 3 times a week. Yeah, they've got a great coach in Stanley Robenheimer, did a great job with SA Women. It's a project that we've already talked with our new owners, Red Dyser, about investing more in the women's side of rugby. You know, that it's, look, I'm going to give you an answer that you're going to think is me just being politically correct, but the more we grow rugby, we can't take it for granted. You know, less children are playing, less. We're just going to be much more inclusive as a sport. So it's important. It's an important thing for us, that women's project. And one of the things Red Dyser have, you know, I know the Bulls are running a professional team. We've got to look at how we can develop our women's rugby as fast as possible. It's for the good of the game, and it's just it's a much fairer thing. But at the moment, I've got so much respect for them. Given the luxuries we have, daytime training, gym, supplements. These ladies work a full day, get in a taxi and report out to Belleville 6 o'clock on a Monday night. So I'm thrilled they're at the stadium, and I hope they enjoy it, and we'll try and watch as much as we can.
Cool. Thanks, Nathan. Actually, Zamasa yesterday had more girls teams and boys teams.
Hey?
Zamasa yesterday had
Really?
more girls teams and boys teams, which is quite interesting. Stephen is next. Yes, Stephen.
Thanks very much. How's it, guys?
Hello, Stephen.
Hi. Dobbo, regarding Leinster, I mean, you know, Leo Cullen was quite coy this week about who's going back and who's coming in and so on. I don't think, you know, I think they were quite shocked by the result against the Lions. Do you have any idea?
1 o'clock.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, obviously we haven't known we'll only know the team later, but what have you prepared for in terms of your expectations of them?
Yeah, I think that result, it's unfortunate for us because, you know, they were so good last week in so many areas. I think they're certainly above 65% territory in possession, but they obviously got a score that wouldn't be acceptable to as proud a team as Leinster. So we know unfortunately, as much as we got bounce back and backlash, they're going to be exactly the same. So they're also Glasgow breathing down their neck for the home final, and that is something that they can't really mess around with. I know they've got a Champions Cup, and they would have planned, I think, they would have planned to try and get the win last week, get guys back and get ready for next week against Northampton. And I think that's not going to have helped us, what happened at Ellis Park. just as I say, in terms of their pride and quality, and secondly, maybe they tinker a little bit with selection. We know Leinster well enough how good and organised and well planned they are. They're not going to be flying guys south, and maybe they delay a few flights north. But the major threat is they are a really proud team. I saw something on that. Somebody showed me. Actually, it was Gareth Wright. So it's not reliable, but I think that they're 28. They're 28 or 28 internationals on their books. So even if they're 15 or 16 or 20 in Dublin, there's still a lot here. So we're expecting a really tough game. You know, I think for them in terms of, I'd like to be in their position, for them in terms of hosting the final, big game. Them in terms of pride, massive. Us in terms of staying alive, massive, and pride, massive. So actually expecting a really high level, tight, tough game of rugby. Also, one of my frustrations, we've got a couple of 7 o'clock kickoffs in a row in the URC or 7:15. You know, it's a very different world from 3 o'clock at Ellis Park. And that's a big leveler in terms of, you know, Toby Boo, or somebody said to me, it wasn't after the game last week, that it was felt like playing in Swansea. So that's also takes out a bit of the comfort maybe people might think of last week's results. It's not going to be the same game tomorrow night at all. It's going to be a really tough game.
Is Brocky getting a contract extension?
That was April Fool's, Stephen.
Well,
So ons praat tog oor Steven.
You're still in negotiations.
no,
yeah.
we generally are.
Yeah.
Generally are.
You could still, Dobbo, is it in your vision of milestones for Brocky to go through to 40? Get one.
I wouldn't mind. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind, because I've done the maths. I wouldn't mind him getting to 300 first class caps. Because that way, if I can sell him that vision, then I can get a few games out of him at the start of next season.
He's over 400 because of the province caps as well.
Province, yeah.
He's over 100 province caps.
Okay.
We go for 300 Stormers in Western Province.
Yeah, listen, we would like, I mean, his general movement and condition and everything like that, but it's just, yeah, we're talking to him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and there were a few ball carries last week, Brocky. It's like you've got a little, you know, one wouldn't say you're a 39-year-old, and you're still looking good there with a ball in hand.
Age is just a number, Stephen.
Brocky, what do you guys have to do better this week to be able to win?
No, I think it all comes down to mindset and execution. We need to execute. We know if we're not going to be on the top of our game tomorrow, Leinster's a quality outfit, so then we'll struggle. So yeah, I think it all comes down to mindset and execution, Stephen, definitely.
The Ospreys, they had parity with you guys in the scrums, and also the driving mauls. Have you guys kind of, did that, I don't want to say hurt a bit, but was that something that you guys addressed, and could the changes maybe, you know, especially with a guy like Ruben coming back and Nietas, could that make a difference?
Yeah, I think just in terms of the set piece, I think our speed on the scrums was actually really good. It was just the second part of it, but yeah, we addressed it and we worked hard on it. Like I said, it's mindset, all comes down to mindset, and yeah, I think we're good enough, and that wasn't our standards.
Dobbo and Marcel Tienerson, what is your vision for him? As in terms of where you'd like to see him play, as a guy that you can kind of stick in anywhere in the loose forward combination, or do you have a specific something in mind for his strengths as a rugby player?
Yeah, I do. I think we're playing him at 6 tomorrow, and I'm not sure that's where I see him. I think he's an exceptional 8, you know, in our game, model 8, ball returner, high intensity, incredible work rate, or 7, because, you know, actually really good. You know, he's not a juggler. He's not a guy who's really going to go in there. He's a really intensive player in terms of covering ground, works hard defensively, but not a natural to the baller. He's more of a carry. So probably start out of position tomorrow, but I say we really wanted to start him. And you know, with Nama and Dion both injured, we don't actually have a really tailor-made six that will come in there. You know, we could have played Billy, but I'd say I wanted myself to get 50. But I think, you know, with 7 and 8 is where he's going to feature. I think that's it.
Just hold on, Stephen's still busy. Yes, Stephen?
I guess this is because he's not so flashy. It's almost not such a big deal he's made. But you know, BJ Dixon coming into the team. You know, if we look at that game against La Rochelle, BJ was having an enormous game. And I think in a way when he went off, that was probably almost felt like your biggest loss in that game. I mean, what does it mean to have a guy like BJ back for a game of this magnitude?
Yeah, it's one of. I think when BJ went off, made a difference in La Rochelle. We missed him a lot last week. I think even if he wasn't injured, we may have still have made the rotation change. But that guy is special. Intensity and physicality. I know there's been people say, "Who is it? Everybody's the next Graham Pollock, you know, Darryl Cullinan or whatever." And then there's been people saying this is the next Peter Steph du Toit. But there's something uncanny about the work rate, the intensity, he's become a real heartbeat of our team, and I think it's a huge thing for us tomorrow to have BJ back. I think that kid's future is really, really bright. This is going to be an international forward. I've got absolutely no question about it.
Cool, thanks. Just lastly, how long is Nana out for? What's wrong with?
It was a hamstring, which is I think grade 1 or 2, so a couple of weeks. But it doesn't help our stock at 6, you know. But we got Villiers, we got Villiers available, and Marcel. Yeah, Keki's not going to play again this season. Stassen's not going to play again this season. Dion's not going to play against the season. It's still Junior Pocabella, so that could be an option for us for next week.
Cool, thanks very much. Good luck, guys.
Cool, thanks, Stephen. Smoothie?
Just last one in terms of context, you spoke about Brok, perhaps Dion Fourie as well. I know he's Dion Fourie, he's out of the season.
Yeah, Dion.
Guys are in negotiations with him.
We'll make the announcements soon.
Yeah, there's an announcement coming on Dion, isn't there? Or not? Or maybe.
Yeah, there is. Well, there should be.
Sorry, I've jumped the gun, but I have to.
Yeah, no, Dion's in our. So let's put it this way: I'd like to deal, but Dion's in our plans, so we would like to keep him here.
Okay.
I think that's still going to be finalized, but yeah, we'd like to keep him.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
Cool.
He's only
He's still got like 3 good years, huh? All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.